The Haunting of Blackwood Elementary. I'll never forget the first time I set foot inside Blackwood Elementary School. The building stood on the outskirts of our small town, shrouded in legends of strange occurrences and eerie happenings. It had been abandoned for decades, a decaying relic of a bygone era. My friends dared me to spend the night there, and foolishly, I accepted. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long, ominous shadows, I approached the imposing structure. The moon hung low in the sky, casting an eerie glow on the cracked windows. The wind whispered through the rustling leaves, creating an unsettling symphony. Pushing open the creaking door, I stepped into the darkness. The air inside was thick and musty, a suffocating blanket that seemed to press against my chest. My flashlight flickered to life, casting a feeble beam that danced along the walls, revealing the tattered remnants of children's drawings and forgotten textbooks. I ascended a grand, sweeping staircase, the wood groaning beneath my weight. At the top, I entered a long hallway, lined with closed classroom doors. I had heard tales of a ghostly teacher who still roamed these halls, punishing misbehaving students. I dismissed the notion as mere superstition, but a chill ran down my spine nonetheless. As I ventured deeper into the building, the temperature plummeted, and my breath hung in the frigid air like ethereal mist. The silence was oppressive, broken only by the distant drip of water and the distant hoot of an owl. I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, of unseen eyes following my every move. Suddenly, a sound echoed from behind me, the faint laughter of children. I spun around, my heart pounding. Empty hallways stared back at me. I convinced myself it was my imagination playing tricks. But doubt not at me. I continued my exploration, my footsteps echoing through the empty corridors. That's when I noticed the murals on the walls. They depicted scenes of joy and laughter, children playing, teachers smiling, a sense of innocence captured in paint. Yet, as my flashlight swept across the images, their faces twisted into grotesque, contorted expressions of agony. Panic welled up within me, and I quickened my pace. I had to find my way out of this place. But the school seemed determined to hold me captive, the hallways shifting and rearranging themselves. The doors that had been closed earlier now stood ajar, beckoning me to enter. I finally chose one, and as I pushed it open, a gust of freezing air rushed over me. Before me lay a classroom frozen in time. Dusty desks were neatly arranged, and a chalkboard displayed a lesson plan from decades past. But the strangest sight of all was the row of children's desks, each occupied by a spectral figure. Their eyes locked onto mine, and I felt a presence, an ancient sorrow that hung heavy in the room. They were not malevolent, but their sadness was palpable. Their voices, barely a whisper, filled the air, recounting stories of lessons unlearned and dreams left unfulfilled. In my terror, I fled the room, stumbling through the shifting labyrinth of Blackwood Elementary. Each classroom seemed to hold a new horror, a new memory of despair. My flashlight flickered, threatening to leave me in complete darkness. Desperation overcame me as I stumbled upon the gymnasium. The space was vast, and in its center stood a lonely swing set, swaying gently as if beckoning me closer. On one of the swings, a shadowy figure sat, a child with eyes that glowed like burning embers. I couldn't resist the pull, the eerie enchantment of that swing. I approached cautiously, my breath coming in ragged gasps. As I reached out, a hand, icy and insubstantial, gripped my wrist. The child spoke, not with words, but with emotions that surged through my mind. The child was trapped here, just like the others, longing for release from the torment of eternity. In that moment, I understood that the school itself was a prison, a place where the lost souls of the past were condemned to linger for all time. With a surge of determination, I promised to help them find peace, to uncover the truth of their tragic fate. As I made that vow, the temperature in the gymnasium began to rise, and the shadows around me dissolved like mist. The school seemed to release its grip on me, and I stumbled out into the night, shaken but alive. I had survived the horrors of Blackwood Elementary, and I would return, armed with the knowledge of its haunting, determined to bring closure to the restless spirits that dwelled within. As I walked away, the moon cast its pale light upon the forsaken building, and I couldn't help but wonder how many others had dared to enter, how many had been ensnared by its dark secrets, and how many still cried out for release from the haunted halls of Blackwood Elementary School.